Hey, what's up, guys? It's Frez here. Just wanted to pass along some information about this year's Guatemala service trip. I know a lot of you guys have asked me about it, and so I thought maybe we just throw a quick video up there so you and your parents might be able to have a little bit of information about the trip itself. There is a meeting coming up November 1st at 6 p.m. here in the Youth Center from 6 to 7. It's about all summer mission trips, but we're going to go over quite a bit of the Guatemala trip itself. Just be throwing up some different slides throughout this presentation so you guys can kind of see what we're talking about, and you don't have to look at me the whole time. So let's kind of dive into it. The Guatemala mission trip itself started in 2005. You can see a picture there of our group, and it was a small group. We did some Bible school there in the community and spent some time in Antigua as well, and really just started our mission work there. From there, it's grown. Since then, we've had 8 different trips who have been down to serve in the community of Guatemala, and they range in size. You can see there in the pictures, and always have youth, always have adults, and they're always fantastic trips. A little bit about Hearts in Motion, the group we go with. We've actually been going with them for all of the trips that we've been down. They do everything from medical teams, some general medical, surgical, OBGYN. They do plastics, a lot of cleft lip and palates. They bring dental teams. They do firefighter training. They do construction, orphanage help, some clean water projects, as well as some education. They also have the physical therapy program there. They actually have 3 physical therapy clinics now open where folks can come in and receive physical therapy. They have the Range in Motion project, which is a project that makes prosthetic limbs for folks down there. Last time I was down there, they had, for the first time, 2 3D printers, and they were using those 3D printers to make new limbs for folks, which was really neat to get to see. They have the Sports in Motion, Music in Motion, and Art in Motion programs, which really help to keep the kids busy after school. As well as they have the orphanage. They have an adoption program within the country of Guatemala. You can't adopt kids from outside the country anymore. Which is, well, they also have a senior center there on their property. They do a program where you kind of adopt a senior citizen. And it's one of my favorite things that they do. And we'll talk more about that as the trip gets closer if anybody's interested in it. Our trip itself, we actually have 2 trips going this summer. July 22nd to the 31st is a youth-only trip, youth and adults who want to hang out with our young people. And then July 31st to August 7th, we have an adult-only trip. So only people 18 or older will be able to go on that trip. And with that trip itself, obviously everyone's kind of together, but they're on their own in terms of making sure they're taking care of themselves. The youth trip is open to any current high school student through adult who really is interested in helping out and being a part of the ministry that we've been doing down there in Guatemala. Most likely when we're down there, we'll be doing some construction work as well as possibly a Bible school. In the past, we've done everything from painting to mixing and pouring concrete to laying cinder block. Really, it's whatever the community is in need of. As the trip gets closer, we'll have specifics on what we'll be doing when we're down there, and I'll pass those along as soon as I have them. Most of our trip is spent in the region of Zacapa, but we spend the last couple days of our trips in the city of Antigua. You can see here on the map, Zacapa is about 3-ish hours north east of Guatemala City. We'll actually take a bus from Guatemala City. We'll get in it at the airport and take it on out to Zacapa. As well as the end of the trip, we'll spend just southwest of Guatemala City in the city of Antigua, which is the old Spanish colonial capital. The cool thing about Antigua is that you kind of get more of the culture there. You see some of the trajes and the traditional garb, as well as you'll get to barter at market and do some of those kind of fun things that at the end of the trip, we'll spend a little bit of time relaxing and doing those things. We do stay in hotels while we're there. The hotel on the left there is the Hotel El Atlántico, which is in Tuculictan, Guatemala. You can see there is a pool with some little bungalows. Those bungalows will actually spend our time processing every day, every night. We'll spend some time in prayer and processing the day. And then the housing itself there is kind of a bungalow style. You'll be put in a room with anywhere from 2 to 4 people. You'll all have your own individual beds, but you might be in a room together. You know, everything is taken care of. When we're at the Hotel Atlantico, our meals and everything As far as breakfast and dinner will be done there at the hotel. Lunch will be done out on our work sites, wherever those work sites might be. Once we hit Antigua, you'll see there on the right the Hotel Casa de las Fuentes, which is a very kind of traditional Spanish-style building. It's gorgeous. There is not a pool, but it's up in the mountains, so it's a lot cooler. And we're not doing any work in Antigua, but it's kind of just a place to be able to lay our heads, to rest up when we're in Antigua, and spend a little bit of time processing the trip itself. When we're in Antigua, all of the food that we have there for breakfast and lunch will be on you. Dinner is paid for as a part of the trip, and we'll do dinner together as a group. What do you need for the trip? Well, you need a passport. The process is there for the passport itself. You can get your pictures taken at somewhere like Walgreens, or there is a new option to as well get it together online, and you can just Google the US Gov's different regulations with that and be able to do that yourself. Most of the time you have to go to the post office or courthouse to go down and actually get your passport itself. If you already have it, you're good to go. Just make sure if you already have it that it's not going to expire while we're down there. I know that seems silly, but we've had folks who have cut it pretty close, and we just want to make sure everybody's got their passport. You can see the immunizations there. These are all recommended to go to Guatemala by the CDC here in the United States. Whether you get it or not is totally up to you. These are all things that you could encounter while you're down there, and so it's always best to kind of err on the side of caution. But that is totally up to you and your family. What will the trip cost? The trip itself is $1,200 to Hearts in Motion if you're going on one trip. If you're going to go on both trips, which I know a few of you have mentioned to me that you'd like to do, it's $2,200 to Hearts in Motion to cover both trips. If you're doing both trips, you'll actually only go to Antigua once. So you'll be in Zacapa for the first week. You'll stay there that weekend, and then we'll come and join you on that the day that everybody comes down on that Sunday, and we'll start the next trip. And then at the end, the very end, you'll end up going to Antigua. Other than that, you'll also need about $800 to $900 for your airline ticket. It really just depends on when we're able to order them. For the youth trip, we're going to order all of our tickets together, and for the adult trip, what I'm going to do is pick out a flight, the flight that looks like it's going to be the cheapest, and I'll have you guys order your tickets for that flight. This way, we're not having to make multiple runs to the airport that day, and everybody can be together and travel together, and who doesn't like to have fun and travel together? Other costs, your passport, as I've already mentioned, the immunizations if you want. Spending money is always the big thing that everybody always asks about. Realistically, what you're going to have to pay for is lunch one day in Antigua, breakfast and lunch the next day in Antigua, and then breakfast and lunch on your way home. Other than that, if you can spend $100 at market, I will be impressed. It really doesn't cost a whole lot to be able to buy some amazing things down in Guatemala. So realistically, $100 would be more than enough travel spending money. We will be doing fundraising for the trip, and we'll be talking lots about that in our meetings when we get together. But folks are able to kind of pay for the trip, either to fundraise it or to pay it outright. It's totally up to you as to which one you do. You can see there on the screen there are some opportunities for fundraisers, and we'll definitely be going over those together as a group, talking about what you can do to help out with those different things. But those are the group fundraising opportunities that you will have. For the youth trip, there is an application process, and you can see there some questions. Really for us, this just lets us know why you want to go on the trip. What is it that is leading you or kind of pushing you to be on this trip? As well as what are you going to bring to the trip? It really just helps us to get to know you a little bit better and to see what your role on the team is going to be. The big thing with this application is to make sure that you get things in by December 1st. We want to make sure everybody who wants to go to Guatemala is able to go. But we're only able to do that if we have some time to go through those applications, as well as time to be able to contact everyone before the start of the new year, so that way we can start fundraising come January. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Go to the website you see up there. There is information packets for both the youth trip and the adult trip. The youth trip is right actually on the front page, and the adult trip is under the young adult/college page. If you click on that link on the left-hand side, you'll be able to take it and use the information from that for the packet there. We get lots of questions about the trip itself, and we would love to be able to answer those questions for you. But I think I can answer a couple of them. One of them is usually, how do we get around? And the answer to that is either a bus or microbuses. They'll all be driven by folks from Hearts in Motion. No one will ever be driving those vehicles from our group. Most of the time, it is driven by either one of the local firemen that we work with or guys that we actually just hire as drivers for the group. You'll get to pick your roommates. That's one of the questions that comes up as well. We'll try and partner you with folks who are of the same gender, obviously. We'll make sure that that happens. But folks that you know, so that you're not in there with somebody maybe that you don't know at all before we go down there. Other than that, food is safe where we eat at the hotel. The only place food might be unsafe is when you go out if you choose to eat street food in Antigua. If you choose to eat street food, that's totally up to you, but I'm not being responsible for your diarrhea afterwards. Other than that, the areas that we do are extremely safe. We've been working there for a long time. Hearts in Motion has been there for nearly 30 years, and we're really excited to get back down there. Please let me know if you have any questions about the trip itself. I'd love to be able to answer them, and I'd love for you guys to be able to join us. So I think that's it, and I hope it was informative. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Like I said, email, phone call, Facebook, tweet at me, whatever you have to do. We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love for you to join us. God bless. Thanks, guys.